Okay, we're at 9:31. We can start. Looks like I'm one of the first of the day. All right, so I know some of you might have seen parts of this presentation, but this is about EdSites, or sometimes referred to as our Oz chatbot that we purchase and use on this campus. It's something I think a lot of people or I say a lot of our professional staff might not be fully aware of, but the students are certainly integrated in this. So EdSites is a AI-based company. However, it's not like something that I would say is fully kind of all in on, like we use more than just their AI functionality, but obviously I'll talk a lot about how they use AI and how our students use it and how it can be a benefit for us as a campus going forward. So we've been with EdSites for since 2020. And they were in the AI world back in 2020, which again, that would have been pretty kind of advanced at the time. So they were out there. So they were really all in on this. So they're using essentially text messaging. Okay. And that's how they communicate with our students. And they're not just using text messaging to send out reminders and things like this. This whole thing is built on student retention. So retention and trying to get students to stay connected to campus. They focus everything on these four elements on the screen: academic engagement, financial distress, wellness, and general kind of social engagement, sense of belonging. So these are kind of the four areas that they have, and we use these to kind of work with students. So essentially the crux of the company, the crux of what we have for our students, and I would say students, I'm going to say these are our undergraduate students only, not our graduate students. Undergrads, this also includes our online students and our in-person students. So essentially, EdSites, with our help, text students about every 7 to 10 days, some kind of message, a question that is mapped out through the whole year. We call these campaigns, and this is what a campaign would look like. This is an actual campaign that went out in March. All right, so question: hey, Courtney, many students work full or part-time jobs while you're a student. I wanted to check in. How is balancing work and school going? Okay. So it prompts them with a question. They just got to return with one of these numbers: 1, 2, 3, 4. Well, ups and downs, struggling, or not currently working. All right. So once you text it, say she said, I forgot what she said. Okay, yes. All right. All right, so she might have said, oh, it didn't pick it up here. It's at the bottom, but she might have said struggling. Let's say she said 3, struggling. I hear you, Courtney. It's normal to feel that way. A lot of students struggle with this. Are the job responsibilities making it hard to stay in school? All right, that's kind of the money question. And say Courtney says yes. And I hear you, Courtney. Oh, I doubled up there. There you go. There are people here at Oswego here to support you. Please share a sentence or two about your specific circumstances. All right. I work overnights while attending school during the day, both full-time status. It's hard to manage my well-being and medical appointments on top of school and work. This is an actual message. Obviously, the names were changed, but this is an actual message that someone had. And then it'll finally come back with some information based off of what they said. That sounds like a lot to manage. Here is a resource for you. Here is another resource for you. And these are just links to stuff that we have on campus. In this case, maybe connecting with your academic advisor. This is how you do that. You can maybe connect with financial aid. This is how you do that. So now we've got this. We've also now flagged this student in the system, which is something that's happening in the background. So once that student's flagged, now it comes back to us as a campus, and in our case, we have a small response team of about 5 to 10 professional staff in all various areas of campus that say, hey, Courtney here's in trouble. All right, obviously we gave her some resources, but we're going to reach out to her individually. So I might email her, say, hey, Courtney, just saw your message come across. I might mention that, I saw that you're working overnights. Is there anything I can do to help out or help with transition or connect you with appropriate resource on campus? Okay, which is awesome. And again, students may choose to respond back. They may not. It's just up to them. But we at least try to connect them with someone on campus. Sometimes, again, a conversation might even go like, "Hey, I'm also having some like mental health issues or challenges," and then I could immediately connect them to counseling services. Here's a phone number, call them, or here's an email. You can get to someone over there. So that's a basis of how the system works. Different themes throughout the year. We have things like homesickness, your performance in your class, your well-being, your kind of overall satisfaction of the institution, your ability to, what's one other one there? Making friends, just whatever it is, we have some different campaigns. 94% of our students are opted in to this. Actually, everybody starts opted in, and then people can opt out. But 94% stay opt in. About over half are regularly communicating with the system. So there was about 19,000 texts back and forth. I'm going to skip that. Oh yeah, here's some of the things. Yeah, temperature check. Every semester we start, second week of classes. Hey, how's it going? Feeling overwhelmed? You feeling good about the semester? Talked about the balancing work and school. Wellness check-in. You're at that one that happened in March. We had 28 students, by the time got through everything, said, "Hey, my wellness is not good, and it's going to affect whether I'm staying in college or not." So 28 students flagged that as a yes. So that means we have to reach out to them, and which we did. The other cool part about this system is, so all those campaigns, they're all pre-planned. I got a whole calendar of what they're going to look like. The company makes them up for us. They're kind of well-researched. They've done these many years. However, we can make up our own at any time. And I always encourage people, if you have some ideas, there's a particular demographic students you want to reach out to, ask them a question through text messaging. Just let me know and we can work on something. So we've had a couple examples of this. Very beginning of the fall semester, the spring semester. If you remember, we just basically had online classes for the first week. We had to make a joke about it. So we made a little cute little saying we sent out to them. No response needed, just to kind of say, "Hey, we're all in this together. Ha ha, look, it's snowing." Another one, we sent out a message about, "Hey, are you aware of our new advising model here on campus?" Okay. And it's kind of yes, no, unsure. And then if they said, "I'm unaware," then they gave them some additional information. This kicked off the very start of class registration. So it also acted as a nice, gentle reminder that, hey, class registration is starting. Do you know what you need to do? We could also target, we don't have to send out messages to all students all the time. We can kind of make our own custom list of students. We can, checkbox things that are already pre-existing. So if I want to send something out to all the athletes, I can send out something to all the athletes, which we did that. We did a little check-in to see how they're going. So again, they just receive this text message on their phone. It comes from the same exact phone number every time. Now, this is where, so when they respond back, especially with some of the open-ended responses, this is where their artificial intelligence will start to kick in a little bit. It has more of a conversational tone with the back and forth messaging. Here's the part where I think we can grow this product, is that the fact that this line, this number that they're getting these text messages from, the students can text anything to this account and then get a response, especially about Oswego stuff. So this is where it's actually a full-blown chatbot. All right. So on the screen there is a sample of kind of some of the messaging that went out and the volume that went out. So we've had over 1,000 students text the bot, not prompted, just texted it with a particular question. Okay. And the breakdown of the themes of questions are right there. So it looks like most were in academics, some with our services, financial aid, campus housing, or other campus events, and then housing. Top questions of that particular month: what wellness resources are available? How can I get help with classes? How do I register for classes? Is there emergency financial aid available? So these are the questions that the students can ask. Now, this is where we get a little fearful of what the thing's going to spit out, and is it going to give us a wrong response or a dated response? And that's always a concern. And I saw this kind of happen in real time, not with our product, but anybody who's on the Oswego, the Facebook, the Oswego community Facebook, right? And they're always asking random questions. And someone asked, hey, when is that Go Green sale that they have with all the students' belongings, and they have it in Sweatman Gym? And it's, years ago, used to happen in May. It's not happening in May anymore. It happens at the beginning of the school year, when we try to kind of sell it back to the students that are here. But AI, Google, spit out an exact date and location and time that it was happening in 2026. And everybody got confused. Like, oh, it's on Google. It says it right there. Right. And I typed in there, no, that's not correct, because it's not anywhere found on our website. But what it did, it just predicted that, hey, you always have it on the Friday after graduation. I'm going to say it's a Friday after graduation. So again, that can be problematic if a student texts it. So in this system, it's basically AI with a lot of guardrails put in place. So if a student texts a question, all right, I have this in the back end of the system, there's probably like 300 questions kind of pre-made. And the company did this for us. And I just, myself and the team had to go through and just double check if the information made sense. Common questions. And what it does is it allows us to at least kind of say, all right, this is the answer. Or more importantly, and this is what the system will normally do, it's going to send you a link to our website that kind of finds that information. So in some cases, it's kind of a glorified search engine, but it does a really good job. Okay. So for example, what time does the dining hall close tonight? Okay. Great. It would be great if it spit out like 8 o'clock, but it doesn't. It spits out. You can find the hours here on this website, on the website, and it'll send you to the right website, which again is a good reminder that is our content on our website up to date? Because you got to remember, all these things are scraping the information on our website. But it also is very conversational. All right. And I can get into the back end and kind of play with it. So, I asked the question it's like, how do I, where do I get my stuff for graduation? Okay. And I literally use my stuff. It knows that and say, oh, congratulations, and it's going to have a conversational tone. And then it's like, oh, you can find your stuff at the college store. And then it gives you a little rundown and then the link. The other question I tried, hey, I'm feeling a little homesick. What can I do? Okay. And again, it turned into a bit of a conversational tone, like, oh, sorry to hear that. And then it gave here's 4 tips for you to do. Okay. Which you can find anywhere. Then, have you talked with your hall director? And here's the contact information for all the hall directors on campus, and maybe they can improve your living situation. Okay. So again, I think that's a really cool tool that we have to encourage students to use more, because again, they can get that quick information anytime, right? And at least start them kind of engaging with these questions around campus. So again, 1,000, great. We can probably get this up to closer to 2,000 if we really promote this. Just for the other part about this is just some data points. All these answers that the students are giving, these are essentially surveys. Every survey I'm going to get between, it might go out to 4,800 students. We're not going to get all of them to answer, but I might get 15 to 20% of them to respond. That's pretty powerful data, just that amount. And it's actually good enough data to say, I believe that this is applicable to all of campus. This is, if 30% of our students are feeling this way, I think we responded on the survey are feeling this way, and that's probably true for a lot of campus. Our biggest risk drivers for students maybe not returning to campus is actually social engagement, which is fine. So there has to be something. I always say we have a lot of control on social engagement. Okay. I will say 3 years ago, that financial one was much higher, the financial engagement. I think as a campus, especially again, this past couple of years, we've really done a good job of targeting financial well-being, working with the students to be more proactive about paying bills, where we've kind of lowered some of that stress that was involved with financial well-being. So, but we not only have all this, we also have, I have every student who's answered this, I can see what their risk profile is, okay? Which is really cool to see if some students been answering, hey, I'm really struggling with this, so really struggling with this, and they end up getting a risk profile like we see right here, okay? So students that are high-end users of this system, we'll see a high risk, because of how they answered certain things. So we haven't really gotten so much into using this part of the data, but I think that's going to be a next step. And as I said, the heart of this is really retention. Every semester we always ask the students, "Are you coming back?" And yes, unsure, no. In December, we had 128 students that said they're unsure, not returning. Okay. We compared that to some of our stuff that we have in Starfish. When we found this group of students, we reached out to them. 81 of the 128 did return. I'm not sure if we had any influence at it at all, but it's a part of a multi-tiered approach to reach out to all these students who say, no, I'm not sure if I'm returning, right? And again, it might be financial reasons, it might be social reasons, it might be academic reasons, it might be close to being DQ'd, whatever it is. We hope that at least if we had a couple students that were influenced by someone personally reaching out to them, then that is pretty powerful. So I'll leave you with the kind of plans moving forward, with this product. We want more students to use it. They were much more active when we first got it back in 2020, 2021, 2022. And obviously there's, some repetitiveness to it. So we rebranded, all right. We gave our little chatbot a personality. We got a new image for him. We're going to rename him Ozzy. So Ozzy will be the chatbot. We're going to try to incorporate this into orientations, some digital signage to kind of say, hey, that's us. We're helping, we're listening. Please use this as a resource. Please use this as a nice search engine for questions that you might have around campus. We are also we're kind of in the process of this, but integrate this in with Starfish. And this will be really important because we can start getting to how some of the questions are answered and at least get that in their Starfish profile. Like, oh, they said they've been homesick. Like that might be like an important note for an advisor who's working with the student, just to kind of see that. All right, so we can kind of get those two systems to connect. EdSites is definitely is working with us to be able to make this happen because again, they have this. They have other campuses that are in the same boat with Starfish. And also, again, trying to continue to share out data. I have, again, mountains of data of how students answer these questions. If I find something interesting, I'll share it with someone, out there. I believe, I think our online students, for example, had a much stronger opinion of the campus than our on-campus or our students here on campus. And their view of the campus is obviously going to be different, but I shared that with the extended learning folks. Like, hey, look at that. It's looking pretty good. I just got the finalized data for our last question that went out. How likely are you to recommend SUNY Oswego to a friend? Which is a really powerful question. That is a question that we will have data for. Well, I have it now, but also I have data from other colleges and universities to see how they answered the question and how we compare. I just got the email on Friday that it's all ready to go. So it kind of gives us a perspective of, what the students are thinking. And it also uses AI to kind of summarize all their responses and look for themes that the students are facing. By the way, our what we call our detractors, the ones that are like, not really our biggest sellers of the campus. One of the words that popped up the most in their framework was mold. It was a theme, and I think it's actually going to swing the score down a little bit. Obviously, we don't have a lot of control over that, but that's just, we'll see that, and I guarantee that's what it's going to say. So yeah, that is us in the EdSites in a nutshell, and again, utilizing AI for this. I realize I just went 2 minutes early, but take any questions? Yeah.
Are those students automatically opted in?
They're automatically opted in, and the system's really good at saying, hey, welcome, this is us. And if you don't want to receive messages, just text back this, and then it'll do that. And it's tied in with Banner too. So if a student leaves campus, they'll be automatically removed. Yeah.
For the image and social engagement was one of the highest ones for the sense of belonging. Do you find it's more related to freshmen or transfers or a particular class, or is it kind of spread out?
I think it's spread out. Definitely, I think the on-campus students definitely feel a little more engaged, but they also have some stronger opinions about some of the negatives of campus. Because again, it's like, what's your biggest frustrations? The res halls and the food, right? And that's like true at every parking. And if you want to throw that in there, it's true for every campus. But they also feel like I made a lot of friends here. I like the clubs, the orgs, the social, life and all that too. They just have these stronger opinions, but nothing. I haven't seen anything too much with the class years. If you make it to your senior year, you're probably a little bit more like, I'm here, I made it. I kind of like this campus, but I haven't looked at the data that closely. Yeah.
It's from Eric. Do the students know that their answers are being passed on to staff and faculty?
Yeah, that's a good question. Kind of like, hey, do you know what you're signing up for? Yes. When they get that opening text, it says that this information might be shared with a helper on campus, and it will be tied to their name. Well, you get some wild responses too. So I think some of them might not realize that. And then they're like, oh, someone's reading this. Oh, okay. No, normally it's a fine conversation, but yes, when that opening message, it's very clear in that messaging that happens. It's a good question. I forgot to mention that.
Do you know what AI model they're using to build this on?
It's their own.
Really?
Yeah, they started it, and I don't know if they jumped in with I think they jumped in with one of the bigger ones, but it was kind of their own little thing when they started. But yeah, I do think they jumped in with one of the big boys. I'll ask that question to them. Yes. All right. Anything online?
Thank you.
All right. Thank you, guys. Sorry to ruin this.